Thank you for joining us on FutureMoneyTrends.com. I'm here with the Vice Presidential nominee for the Libertarian Party, Judge Gray. Thank you for being with us today, sir.
It's nice to be with you. Thank you.
What is going to happen over the next few weeks here with the Libertarian Party's campaign as far as getting into the debates? Is that option closed?
No, it's not closed, but it's been crushing for us not to be in the debates. The problem is that the Republicans and Democrats, with their Presidential Debates Commission, and they control it, have been brilliant. Nothing short of brilliant. And if you're talking about merchandising, they've done a sensational job. They are the winners, but the people of the United States of America are the losers. And in fact, the actual League of Women Voters back in the late 1980s, backed out of being in their sponsorship for the Presidential Debates Commission with the comment that we will not lend our name to be involved with the hoodwinking of America, their words. And now they have simply gotten together, frozen out competition, and put the bar so high that nobody can basically break into it. So it's a moving target, so we've not been successful. We've brought a couple of lawsuits. We're going to file another one promptly. Whether we're successful or not, I don't know, but we're going to pursue this even after the election if necessary as a public service.
How are you guys doing in the different states? Is there any states where you guys are polling where you guys are going to possibly win it or sway it from either one of the candidates?
I can't say without being in the debates that we're going to win any states. I've been optimistic about Colorado, actually, and Oregon and Washington, where all three of those states have initiatives on the ballot to regulate marijuana like alcohol. We're polling pretty well in a swing state in Ohio. That's about 10%. Without being in the debates, 10% will be acceptable. With being in the debates, honestly, I truly, honestly believe that we would be competitive to win this election. The support for Romney is soft. We have most people that are going to put an X by Romney's name are just voting against Obama, and the support for Obama is soft also. Most of them are just voting against Romney. They'll never vote for each other. They would vote for us if we'd be seen as viable. We had to be in the debates to be viable, but we're here for the duration. One way or the other, if you get a Republican or Democrat in the White House, you're going to still have that bipolar politics going on with the Republicans and Democrats. We will put in a coalition government, which means that, yes, we'll have Libertarians, independents in our administration, but we'll also have Republicans and Democrats as long as they agree with our philosophy of, honestly, financial responsibility and social tolerance. And if they are, then when we have this bipolar politics going on in Washington today, we'll have some of their colleagues go out from our administration and say, come on, get on board. This is a good idea, support it, and we'll give credit to anybody that has a good idea, anybody that embraces a good idea. That is not going to happen under Romney or Obama ever. So one way or the other, if it takes 2016, that's what we'll do.
How will a Liberty campaign ever overcome the obstacle that you don't promise anybody anything but liberty? Corporations aren't going to give you money because you're not offering any loopholes for them. Individuals aren't going to come hugely rally to you because you're not offering them any benefits. You're offering basically people a constitutional government. How do you overcome that? Because people don't understand liberty.
Well, it's true, and we will continue to do this. Ron Paul, we simply say congratulate him. He's won the election in a lot of ways. He has mainstreamed this whole idea. But we have ideas that will work, and the people do want our country to work. And when we repeal the income tax, for example, we will make our goods competitive, because today they're not competitive, artificially more expensive, because before they leave our shores as exports, they paid income taxes, they paid payroll taxes. That would not be the case then. And now you have goods coming into our country from other foreign countries that have not paid taxes on them, competing with our goods that have. If you repeal the income tax and actually go to a retail consumption tax, you level the playing field, then all of these goods pay the same taxes. So that would bring back millions of jobs to our countries. Corporations like that idea. That's okay. So they will come with us, but you have a huge obstacle in that way, because members of Congress today, as you know, get huge political benefits and powers from voting for tax breaks for their wealthy constituents. And those wealthy constituents love it because some of them think General Electric, if you want to, don't pay any taxes. Those are people we'll have to confront, but the majority of people will agree to this. It'll make our country safer, better, more competitive, and will bring back millions of jobs. So we're gonna do this thing. It's just a question of when.
A lot of people are shocked when they find out that a police officer or a judge could be against the drug war, I think it gives you a lot more credibility because you've actually seen how it works. What is your argument against imprisoning all these people who have just done something that maybe they've smoked some marijuana?
As you say. Now, I'm a former drug warrior. I was a Navy JAG attorney in Guam, wrote the charge sheets against a lot of our shipmates for drug offenses and others. I was a criminal defense attorney in the Navy. I was a federal prosecutor in Los Angeles, prosecuting drug crimes, etc. And I was basically raised, like the rest of us, to equate heroin with bad, with evil, with prison. And then when I was a judge, you see us churning low-level drug offenders through the system for no good purpose, ruining their lives, rendering them unemployable, actually separating parents from their children. And so I came out publicly against our nation's drug policy in 1992. And now I'm involved with LEAP, which is Law Enforcement Against Prohibition. Numbers of good people, law enforcement, anything from border guards to probation officers, judges, police officers, etc., showing how what we're doing isn't working. And I'm proud to be involved with that association. And now I say, and it's true, that drug prohibition is the biggest failed policy in the history of the United States of America, second only to slavery. And so that's a pretty strong statement. I was actually being interviewed by a reporter from a local newspaper today, and I said, tell me any area of society you want to, and I'll show you how drug prohibition has caused it to be worse off. And she gave me 2 shots, and I responded to her, and she agreed. And I said, come on, those are easy questions. Anything you want. You name any area of society, I will show you how it's made worse by drug prohibition. So we're going to change it. It's a question of when. I'm proud to be involved with this, and the earlier we can do it, the better.
Judge, moving to the economy, we're at a point in this country where even if you eliminated the entire federal government and military, we cannot balance our budget. You mentioned 2016. Will there be anything left in 2016, or are we going over the fiscal cliff? I mean, we're looking at the debt ceiling is going to be breached in November.
I am truly concerned. I'm not a, call wolf and the rest of this sort of stuff. If we go on in the next 4 years like we did in the last 4 years, I'm not even sure it's salvageable. I think it's that serious. However, Governor Gary Johnson, who has been there, and by the way, as you know, left the state of New Mexico after his 2 terms as governor with $1 billion surplus. And as he says it, everyone is predicting that you're going to have children dying of starvation and blood in the streets, none of which happened. We're going to submit a balanced budget to Congress in 2013. Even Paul Ryan, considered to have this radical budget, wouldn't balance the budget for 28 years if you pencil it out. So we're going to submit this balanced budget. Where is the savings going to come from? We're not going to reduce everybody's budget by 43%. That's naive, that's stupid. Because there are actually some areas of government that are working, but we're going to eliminate programs. We're going to eliminate whole agencies. And certainly, the place to start, we're going to have an audit of the entire federal government. The Pentagon, all agencies, everything else. Generally accepted accounting principles. Any public corporation is required to do that every year. The government has never had that happen. The Pentagon says, oh no, national security, nonsense. We're not going to give away national secrets. We're going to have an audit. And then we're going to look and see where those agencies that are not giving us value, not doing something beneficial. And I have some in mind, but let's give this audit and find out. But I really believe, in fact, Governor Perry from Texas was on that Republican debate and couldn't remember them. I can. It's the Department of Education. We don't want the federal government involved in education, and we can talk about that if you want to. The Department of Energy, today picking winners and losers in the marketplace, such as ethanol using corn. Crazy, that's not my area, but there are numbers of products that would do it better. Let's let the market take care of that. The Department of Commerce, the government's not supposed to be involved in commerce. We can eliminate that. Even the Bureau of Indian Affairs should be trimmed back. Oh, poor baby, you're a Native American. You're not smart enough to take care of the education of your children. Nonsense, it's insulting. So we can do this. That'll all be part of the 43% plus. Our military now is called upon by Congress, by the President, to be involved in military conflicts all around the world. It's not making us safer. It's not making us more secure. It's making people mad at us, actually, in all of these different places. Somalia is not a security threat to the United States of America. The Sudan, Yemen, no. Bring those troops home. Stop it. We will do this immediately. Afghanistan, You know, the Obama administration is saying, oh, we'll bring our troops home by 2014. What we're doing there now is counterproductive. It's a tribal area, you know. The only thing that unites these tribes that do not get along with each other, they don't want a central government, they have their various tribes. The only thing that unites them at all is a foreign invader comes in to occupy the country. Guess who the foreign invader is today? The answer is no. We have spent $1 trillion in Afghanistan. We can't afford it. It's counterproductive. Bring them home now. All of this is the part of our savings. And the last thing, and we'll move on, but it's critically important, people need to understand that today for every dollar the federal government is spending, we're borrowing 43 cents or printing it. We can't do that. No company could possibly do that and stay in existence. No household can do that without going through bankruptcy. Let me tell you a secret. No country can either. We are Greece, and we've got to let this word out because we simply are overextended. This was the fall of the Roman Empire. They were never conquered from without. They overextended and collapsed from within. The Ottoman Empire, the Soviet Empire, it's all the same. That's where we're going now. Even if we wanted to, even if it would help us, we can't afford it. We need to bring back financial responsibility. Governor Gary Johnson is the only one that will do that. I am so committed to this man. It's the most exciting thing that's ever happened to me. He's the guy.
What would you and Governor Johnson do as president and vice president to deal with this war on savers, where savers, they're getting 0% interest rate, food's going up, gas is going up. The Federal Reserve is able to do, up to $17 trillion in bailouts over a week.
Isn't it amazing?
What is going on with the Federal Reserve?
The Fed is simply, it never should have come into existence. It has so much power. They've never been elected. They're not subject to we the people. But these are things that we're going to have to look at. In fact, Ron Paul, bless him forever, his audit of the Fed showed us we have literally spent trillions of our tax dollar money in bailing out foreign banks, to protect currency, etc. That's crazy. In fact, it's a rigged game. You talk about the banks. Talk about the bank. They are receiving money on loans from the Fed at 0% interest. Not a bad deal. And then they're using that money. How? They're investing in government bonds. And they're receiving interest basically at 0% from the government. And then they're getting money from the government for investing the government's money in the government. It's crazy. I'd love to do that. By the way, I'm really good at this. I'm as good as anybody as not raising corn, and you can pay me for it. All this crony capitalism that we have is nuts. Governor Gary Johnson and I actually appeal to so many movements around the country. Yes, the Ron Paul supporters, because we really do believe in restricted and reduced government. We stand for liberty. But also the Tea Party. We will not have involved this crony capitalism, this paying oil companies for drilling for oil, all that sort of stuff. The answer is no. Foreign aid. We can't afford it. It doesn't help. You have a lot of basically middle class, lower middle class people in our country paying their taxes, fairly poor people in a rich country like ours giving foreign aid to wealthy people in poor countries. And it usually ends up in Swiss bank accounts, or people can drive Mercedes around. The answer is no. We can't afford it. It just goes on and on.
Are you guys surprised you haven't received a Ron Paul endorsement?
Ron Paul's a hero. We went to we went to Tampa before the Republican National Convention for Paul Fest and celebrated Ron Paul in so many ways as won the election. We don't expect his endorsement because, yes, he has familial involvement with Rand Paul, his son. And I think Rand Paul's a fine fellow. And obviously he wants to hand off the baton to his son. So that's fine. Ron Paul supporters, though, are coming to us in droves because they realize that we're in the same family. So one way or the other, we're going to do just fine. Thank you.
If someone would like to volunteer for the campaign, they've got 3.5 weeks left. Where can they go?
Well, go to our website, or you can call me directly, or you can find us at GaryJohnson2012.com. You can contact the campaign through that. This is critically important. This is the guy. And he's done it in New Mexico. He has actually been able, as you know, in New Mexico after 8 years, to leave the state with $1 billion surplus. He actually caused the creation, or assisted in the creation, of more private jobs per capita than any other governor by streamlining regulations, getting the government out of the way. So as he says, modestly, I didn't do it. It's just that he got the government out of the way. Of course we need regulations, no question, but streamline them, make them user-friendly. And he stood up for liberty. I've called him publicly, the most qualified person to be President of the United States that I know of. I guess I said it a few too many times, so he asked me to be his running mate, so now what am I supposed to say? But we're going to do this, and we're running to win. But all in all, if all else fails, we're just going to get 5% of the vote. Then we will be entitled to these matching funds. I don't particularly like the idea of the government involved in this, but you have to win by the system before you change it. But we'll be entitled to matching funds. Every state that we get 5% or more will be able to be on the ballot without jumping through all these hoops. And it'll be the beginning of the end of the two-party system. We will be in the middle, because we are. We are the only ones in the mainstream of American political thought today. We're both financially responsible and socially tolerant. No one will accuse Romney of being socially tolerant. No one will accuse Obama of being financially responsible. We are in the mainstream of American political thought. And then that will require the extremes of both sides to come more toward the middle. This is exciting. It's historic. Just get us that 5%. You talk about a wasted vote. No, you talk about an important vote. Vote for Governor Gary Johnson. We'll get it done.
Your cause is the cause of liberty, and thank you so much, sir.
Pleasure. Nice
Appreciate
to be with you. Good luck to us all.
Thank you.